Alright, let's do this. Now, we're in the Legion headquarters. All of this will be sealing, right? Evidence chest. Ooh. We talk to Arhu? Yeah, right. No, don't steal.
Source Hunter, welcome.
Welcome.
But certainly. What would you like to know? Oh, I am but a wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My body, like any other, is bound to temporal decay. But my spirit is a speck of light that shone forth from the eternal sun that is the cosmic soul.
Okay.
My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is the intrigue spun by demons and directors of the dead. Hence my involvement in Siciel. You see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment. For she knows that her chicks or children, her cubs or calves, will grow up without knowing the meaning of menace, the enfeeblement of fear.
He does, in addition to using a lot of cat metaphors, there's a lot of alliterations as well, right? Which is kind of cool. Well-written dialogue. Meaning of menace, the enfeeblement of fear.
To my great regret, none of them purr as yet. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Such magic to be out in the night. But of course it's handy to speak in more than
We've
meows.
heard this before, that's why I'm
And I couldn't brew potions or oh, that'll never happen. Granted, a witch could make the polymorph permanent if she'd enchant me in my cat guise, but I'll just have to be careful around witches, won't I?
Interesting.
I'm my own wizard, you know, and I don't intend to become anyone's familiar. And what might those be? Those who are raising the dead dwell among us. They simply must be. But even though I've spent many a night leaping from tree to rooftop, watching on as citizens stagger home from the inn or simply burn the midnight oil, I haven't spied a single soul worthy of true suspicion. The enemy is wily. They know us better than we know them, and they've found ways to avoid both detection and distrust. Yet I am somehow convinced that you may succeed where the Legion and I have failed. Call it you have a flair for understatements, Hunter. I'm sure they are but a minor nuisance in the eyes of a born warrior.
Call it instinct.
But to the Legion they are green-skinned death incarnate. Until they conclude what mischief they intend to see through, or, less likely, they are conclusively defeated, we can but bar the gates and hole up like mice while the cats are on the prowl. Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human. You basically construct a classic ballista, add a 100% legally obtained self-regenerating source of destructive magic to it, and Bobcat's your uncle. By all means. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen, all the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry. Of course, I hope your investigation fares well. I myself have none, even though the rest of the town has already mentally tried and convicted Jake's wife, Esmeralda.
Can't be her then, right?
Now, it may well be established that she is, in fact, the guilty party.
Or it is her.
I'm not claiming that I'm
red herring.
certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought this murder case would be so very easily resolved, I wouldn't have sent for source hunters. I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing the same cup of wine for hours. I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible commotion erupted and the thundering light of magic was witnessed by the few remaining patrons. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt.
Very interesting. Now, let's have a look at our log, actually. We haven't had a look at that yet. So these are the ones we finished already, right? Day 1. On the beach, we met a talking shell called Ishmael. He's very unhappy to be stranded on land and wants us to throw him back into the sea. We threw Ishmael back into the sea. He was grateful and raised a treasure chest from the seabed. We met 2 tipsy Legionnaires guarding a bridge. They suspected we were spies and wanted to arrest us. We resisted their drunken bravado and had to face them in combat. The result? 2 dead Legionnaires. Orc fight on the beach. We defeated the platoon of orcs attacking Saisil's beach and harbor. Curiously, it looked like there was a black-clad human giving the orders. Seems we have arrived just in time. The beaches of Saisil are under attack. Fire, fire! We saved the ship by casting a ship in the harbor has been set on fire by the orcs. We saved the ship by casting a rain spell extinguishing the flames. The talking statues. We learned from the diary of a dead man that he jumped off a cliff believing that some whimsical statues had granted him the ability to fly. Ahu told us that there are more orcs to be found on the western beach near the entrance of an ill-omened cave. Maybe worth our while to investigate what these beasts are up. What it is these beasts are up to, I suppose? Source Hunter's Journey. We're ready for our first assignment. It seems the murder of Councillor Jake is a clear-cut case of sorcery. We're ready to nab the perpetrator. We landed on the beach east of our destination, so we should head westwards towards the city of Saisil. We were waylaid by a group of tomb raiders escaping with a stone of some kind. Their leader used necromancy, a further indication that Source's play is in play in Saisil. We could investigate the tomb or keep heading towards the city. We met with an angry undead in the catacomb from which the tomb raiders emerged. He told us they stole a bloodstone, an ominous name to be sure. We wandered straight into an orc assault out on the beaches of Saisil. There were no match for us in combat. We were led by a human, and it can hardly be a coincidence that he was dressed like the tomb raiders we met earlier. What on earth is going on here? We met with Arhu, wizard capable of turning himself into a cat, or is it vice versa? He told us to meet with Captain Aureus, the ranking officer in Saisil, in the Legion headquarters. The shipless sailors. 3 out-of-work sailors, Louis, Max, and Philip. Is that a reference to something? Probably. Mourned the loss of their ship and asked us to help them find employment. A mysterious murder. Our orders are clear. We have been sent to the city of Saisil to investigate the murder of Councillor Jake. The wizard Arhu will meet us in the city to elaborate on this sorry matter. The wizard Arhu welcomed us to Saisil. Clearly, there are many strange things going on in this town, but the murder of Councillor Jake should remain our top priority. Arhu saw the room in which Councillor Jake was murdered, and he certainly saw traces of sorcery in there. We should have a look for ourselves. Arhu informed us the main suspect in Jake's murder is his wife Esmeralda, but that he has his doubts about that. Could she really be a sorceress? That will be for us to judge. Perhaps we should talk to her ourselves in a shop near the town square. Ahu told us to talk to Aureus, the captain of the Legion, in the Legion headquarters up in Sicil proper. We'll need his authorization if we want to see the scene of the murder, which is located in the King Crab Inn. We met with Captain Aureus, who reluctantly gave us permission to visit the scene of Jake's murder in the King Crab Inn. This officer has a great dislike for source hunters, but no matter. We're here to conduct an investigation, not make new friends. Arhu told us what happened the night of Jake's murder. 2 cloaked figures, followed by a third, entered the room. Shortly afterwards, sounds of a great struggle broke out. When the innkeeper went to see what had happened, the room was destroyed and Jake was dead and alone. Secrets? No. Dialogues? Map? Let's have a look at a couple of the books that we picked up as well. So I'll give the scrolls to her. Whisperwood. It's also a scroll. And the branches and stuff like that to her. The Order of the Source Hunters, a brief history. You haven't read that yet. When Source was tainted so many centuries ago, sorcerers who had once brought great good began to wield a force of evil. Well, one of my characters is both a sorcerer and a source hunter. When one of their kind, Brecker's Rex, came to power, he instigated a war that would have undone Rivellon if not for the Council of the Seven. These wise rulers ordered a new order of elite warriors especially trained to fight the Source Menace. Brecker's was defeated, and the Order of the Source Hunters began its legacy. Our objective is to eradicate the Source Menace from Rivellon, one sorcerer at a time. Recognizing Source. Unlike other forms of magic, Source is particularly difficult to identify. Mages of many years' experience may learn to sense the presence of Source, as others smell the six-sweet scent of poison, or hear the barely perceptible scrape of a sword loosened from its hilt. Source may be challenged or channeled through certain objects, weapons, gems, or metals. These are unpredictable as Source itself, and may inflict terrible harm or magnificent feats of healing upon either wielder or target. Methodology of the Source Hunter. Ours is an order of cunning and cleverness, as much as strength and power. The well-trained Source Hunter will examine and question lift every barrel and analyze each testimony for the faintest breath of a clue. Nothing is insurmountable. If some knot puzzles you, mark its location upon your map and return to it when you've learned a better method of untangling it. There are no limits to a Source Hunter's resolve, no riddle is unknowable, no foe unbeatable, no mystery unsolvable. Crafting and cooking with Maradino. A hefty tome about crafting and cooking, its author seems something of an expert in both. Crack it open, inhale the musk of its pages, and learn something new. The Guide for Urban and Feral Bachelors. Part 1. The Bachelor's Guide to Crafting. Because girls will put ribbons and bows on your clubs and axes. Maradino the All-Knowing. Whether you're lost in a metropolis or the untrodden wilds, a proper bachelor can craft all he needs to survive an orc ambush or a singles ball. Let's have a look at some of Maradino's classics. The good arrow. This is actually useful then. The good arrow starts with its shaft. You can make your own arrows out of any tree branch. All it takes is a knife, then create your own special arrowheads to really surprise the enemy. But we'll leave that for you for another chapter. If you think a dagger takes you up too close and personal to an ugly enemy's face, try sticking it at the end of a tree branch so you can poke him from a bit of a distance. So that'll create like a spear or a glaive or something. If you're not the stabbing type, glue 2 branches together and you've got yourself a staff. The Guide to Cooking. Because girls' dishes take ages and come with too many vegetables. Marodino, the all-perceiving. Prepare yourself for the most versatile dish around, one that I've dubbed the Sicilian pie. All you need is a wheel of dough and whatever toppings take your fancy. Flesh, fish, or those funny mushrooms, yours is the choice. Urban bachelors, prepare your pie and slide it in the oven. Feral bachelors, prepare your pie and heat it over a low fire. You can't go amiss with a Sicilian pie, the ultimate bachelor sustenance. The delicious smell may attract hungry, savage creatures. Marodino cannot be held responsible for the death of pie-baking feral bachelors. Here are some of Marodino's favorites. First off, prepare your dough. All it takes is some flour and water. This is your base ingredient for bread, but you can turn it into cheese bread dough with cheese or Sicilian pie dough with fish. Or even pizza with pizza sauce. To make pizza sauce, just smash a tomato with a hammer for all I care. Ha! Alright. New recipe. Oh! Where are these recipes stored? I suppose in... where's my crafting menu? Log? No. Tutorial log. This is the map. Tactical camera. Game menu. Resume. Connection menu. Skills, inventory. Where's crafting? Well, alright, so we read the crafting and cooking with Marodino. Orders. Traveler's Journal, we read this. Old Parchment. We read this, right? Secrets of the Scroll, Volume 1. A dusty book about magical crafting, focusing on the macabre art of grinding bones into dust. Secrets of the Scroll, Special Dust to Dust. One of the major ingredients the aspiring enchanter and potion mixer should master is bone dust. In this case, success depends on the proper use of tools. Mortar and pestle will always produce a fine-grained bone dust, whereas more rudimentary or aggressive methods of grinding bones and skulls will leave you with a pile of useless splinters. Invest in a mortar and pestle before considering a cheap alternative. Pile after pile of fine and effective bone dust will be your reward for this small investment. That's all. New recipe, bone dust. Okay, that's enough reading for now. Let's leave this place. Or see if we... lots of evidence chests. We can't steal from those, I suppose. Oh, Oria's diary. Juicy. What do we have in the cellar here? Probably...
Quiet! No talking to these scoundrels, criminal scamp!
Probably prisoners. The Adventurer's Field Guide, Volume 2. And that's not even stealing. I can't reach it though, huh? Yeah, I'd have to pick the lock.
Oh, thank you to take a step in another direction. This is the Legion treasure room, and you've no business bothering with it. Your not-so-sterling reputation happens to precede you.
What? My reputation is pretty sterling. It's 35. What are you saying? What are you saying, Fuse? Nothing of interest. End. Yeah, we don't have like a proper rogue with us yet. So no sneaking and stealing and breaking into things. For now. Alright, so we do have a couple of quest markers. What are those?
Come on now.
Oh, those are just... wait.
Before she could do any real damage.
Lace markers, I suppose? Warriors.
Ah, come on with the
So we can talk either to Esmeralda or look at the crime scene.
Face furious. She bit me in the face.
In the
Look on
face!
the bright side.
Let's talk to
Everyone
these
knows the
yokels.
ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly it'll be. Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls.
That's not a crime, is it?
I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Just hunting rats, and then you startled her?
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Is that the bite?
Sorry, sir. Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another Legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Is that... I know that voice. Isn't that, Ceres? From The Witcher 3?
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Bairdotr, level 3. I bet she can, like, become a party member or something, right? We could use a ranger.
Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Perhaps it'd be worth talking to this, taking this stranger under our wing. She's likely, yeah.
Attention!
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can trust her to watch our backs.
I kind of want these two to be at odds a little bit, though.
That's a mighty big if. We can't have one of our team wandering off into the wilds when we need her to be watching our backs.
And focus on different character traits.
About face!
Ganache will probably win the argument anyways.
Can't say I'm surprised. You wouldn't want an untamed thing like that sleeping next to you at night. Now it's for us to decide what to do with her, of course.
If I've got my say, we'll take her into the woods and put her down.
Wait. Or did I mess that up now?
Say, Source Hunter, do you reckon the vendor's got any rather large, burlap sacks lying about?
What?
And where's the nearest river anyhow?
You trying to get rid of a body?
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning.
Perhaps it'd be
Maybe
worth
both
taking
need
this
to
stranger
agree.
under our wing.
After all,
Well, that's a relief, ain't it?
There we go.
We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
I mean, maybe I'm gonna regret this, but...
No, sir!
I mean, more party members. So split the party by dragging their portraits away from one another. Yeah, I know.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder.
We'll see
and
about
don't
that.
turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
Can you talk to her?
Source Hunter, I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind. In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Oh, do I actually have to read this now? Okay. So there's little in our world more variable than the minds of men. It is the source of great beauty and much despair, and all of it uniquely human.
To the barracks! March!
Uniquely human? I wouldn't go quite so far. The savagery of humans is no better than that of the basest beast.
It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me, even if one burns hot while the other wheezes cold.
Get to shining
Perhaps in time I will come to know my own kind as you have. And perhaps then I will decide for myself whether ours is a noble kind.
About face! To the barracks!
You say you will take me under your wing, but I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears?
Something like that.
And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind, he thrived among his mother's ilk. So says the saga of Threes. Do you know it?
Not really.
The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the Bairdotr.
I meant that I would be responsible for you. I will keep you out of trouble.
In truth, this is a relief. Your world is made with rules I have not yet memorized. I am happy to have a friend in such a place.
Bairdotr. So that's obviously like some Nordic lass.
Attention!
Ask freely, my friend. Your city is far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. In Home Forest, your strength and speed determine your fate. Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage, and one must wait for a kind stranger to grant freedom.
Tis true.
Jarrett, wise Jarrett, taught me the bird songs of our people. If not for him, I would never have learned more than the beasts could teach me. A beast's life is to survive. A human's is to know. I am both beast and human, and so I must do both. I have learned all the bird song that Jarrett could teach. I remembered every word.
This Jarrett.
These tales have brought me much pleasure. The remembering of the beasts is without lies. We know not to approach the wasp's nest because long ago one bear mother discovered its dangers. This she taught to her cubs, and those cubs taught the next. We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only what is useful to us now. Rito will be forgotten. The beauty of the story will be forgotten. But the lesson will not. It is different between beasts and humans. I am lucky to enjoy both ways. He came to me when I was small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird. We each reached out to the other. We found each other. Jarrett visited me often, and in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day while he studied his books and his magics. By night, by the fire, he'd tell me tales of the world of people. Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself.
Then?
He teaches me and I care for him. I heard this was a place of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces here in a day than I had seen in all the days of my life together. But I have not found the face I seek. Jarrett is missing. It is my duty to find him.
He's missing now, alright.
That mystery is thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. It started with a great disturbance in Home Forest. A terrible disease came in the night and turned the birds and beasts soft and foul as carrion while they still lived. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran to Jarrett to tell him what I had seen, his reaction was strange. He had no answer. The next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke down the door, and inside his chamber was nothing. His equipment, his books, all but some scraps of parchment were gone. He was kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death, coming for you. And the signature? Attenborough.
Attenborough?
I do not know the one called Attenborough, but I know that if I am to find Jarrett, I must start there. Whoever this Attenborough may be, I believe he or she may know where Jarrett has been taken.
Those boats would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Is it different if I talk
I am on the
with
trail,
her?
Source Hunter.
Private.
Ask freely, my friend.
This is all. Yeah, we've talked about this. So let's have a look at her.
About face.
Well, she doesn't have any weapon. Bairdottr's armor. 28. It's one initiative. This garment, patched together from leather and wild fleece, appears to have been torn and mended many times over. Bairdottr's garment. Rough, sturdy little rank. Who else could have made this wool? Could have worn this particular garment. It's not doing anything stats-wise, right? This look cooler? Does she have tattoos? Oh no, that's just dirt, right? Ah, this looks better, I suppose. The boots. Rough-hewn yet sturdy, these patchwork boots are lined with rabbit fur and held together by sinews and strips of animal hide.
Those boots
Abilities, she's got bow and
Sorry,
what's
sir.
that? Tenebrium weapons.
You think that's funny, Private?
Oh, my other characters can't
Sir,
even learn
no,
that,
sir.
right? Tenebrium, huh? Skills. Expert marksman.
Those boots that embarrass a
Allows you to
bridge
learn
troll.
and use
Get
5
to
novice, 2
shining
adapt, and 0
recruits.
master
Sorry,
expert
sir.
marksman skills. Personality, craftsmanship. She's a law master too. Oh, damn it. Shouldn't have skilled law master at all with my mage, I suppose. Eh.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew.
Arrow
Again.
recovery. Bully. Slowed, crippled, and knocked down. Well, that's good, because tank has a knockdown ability. Stench.
Those boots
Decreases
that
everyone's
embarrass a
attitude
bridge
toward you by
troll. Get to
25, but melee
shining
opponent will
recruits.
find you
Sorry, sir.
less attractive in combat. That's cool.
You think that's funny, Private?
Also, she has
Sir,
a
no,
resurrect
sir.
scroll that'll go to Sulesa. And yeah, we need a weapon for her. Preferably a bow.
Those boots that embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Attention!
We did have a bow earlier, but we sold it.
About face! To the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Bill Sergeant, can we talk to
Better
him?
to evacuate this place while there's still some left to save, I say. Go!
Goodbye.
Attention!
They're all like,
face!
oh, I can take this.
To the
Yeah, I'll take the
barracks!
fire arrow.
Notch!
If it's not stealing, that is.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Maybe they have a bow lying around that I can take.
Those boots that embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Where's this lead? Oh, that's probably one of the gates.
Drink and gamble. That's all we do around here.
To the barracks! Notch!
Welcome back to Sicil Hunter. The Legion greets you. Legionnaire at your service. You don't look like you're quite
All
ready
right.
to head out into the undead-infested wilds to me. Also, a party of 1 or 2 runs the risk of being outflanked and outnumbered. I'd bring some backup if I were you. Of course, the choice is yours, but are you sure you want to venture out?
I agree, Kiwi Legionnaire.
Thank you for heeding my words of warning, Hunter. Sicil needs you alive and well.
New Zealand
Yes, sir.
needs you, Hunter. What is this? Looks kind of abandoned. Who are you? Beggar?
1 coin or 2, noble spirit? 1 coin or 2? Oh, I am a happy man, and certainly a humble one now. It turns out losing it all
Oh,
has
God.
its own share of benefits. Ah, a fool once was I, and ever seeking greater satisfaction than that which I already enjoyed. In my folly, I sought the counsel of those notorious Watcher statues on the western cliffs. Their guidance ruined any small fortune I might have had, but certainly granted me humility.
So if I give him like 10 gold coins, I bet he's like gonna throw all caution into the wind and not be humble at all anymore.
I'd heard they were not to be trusted, that
Right.
they gave fools advice to the fools who sought them, but somehow I believed that I was the exception.
So if I give him 10 gold pieces, I bet he's gonna jump off the cliff as well, right?
They told me that I would find fame and renown if I renounced my worldly possessions, all my worldly possessions, and became a great figure of piety and humility.
Decisions. Can we talk? Like, doesn't have anything, alright.
Fire, the most thorough cleanser, was my method.
100 XP.
But as my house burned in front of me, I felt no elevation, no piety, only the sudden weight of my own idiocy upon my very soul.
Also, I got a question, and that is whether the XP you get from fighting or quests is divided by your party members. Because if it isn't, that would mean that having a full party before getting any XP would of course be the correct min-maxing thing to do. We'll give him 1.
Thank you, kind one.
No, I won't give him 10. Also, these two can talk.
So those statues told him he'd have to renounce his earthly possessions to become a spiritual leader, did they?
Makes sense to me. How can you explore the spirit when you're busy keeping up with the Joneses?
Joneses?
And now he's begging to survive. Looks like everything went according to plan.
Materialistic, spiritual. What do these do? Spiritual is... You're immune to fear, that's pretty good. Materialistic is Law Masters increased by 1. Alright.
Have some pity.
Already did. So this is just the river, alright. Let's have a look this away. Cedric. What is he doing? Performing?
Showman, show all of the Sicil what you're made of. Apart from beer and flatulence. You there! Sit! Stay a while.
Stay a while and listen.
Right in front. I'll excite you. I'll delight you. I'll beguile you. I'll besmile you.
That doesn't
I'm
make any
Cedric
sense.
the Sensational, and I'm playing to an empty audience.
I have to tell him about crafting and cooking.
Don't pity me.
Oh, we're
No,
speaking with the wrong
sir.
character.
Just a few years ago, I was the all-singing, all-dancing, all-sensational darling of the town. People came from far and wide just to witness my amazing act.
Sure they did.
When Reginald came, he brought some fantastic prop with him. Now, have you seen it? A talking head. Now, I never expected a silly gimmick like that to be my main competition. It seems even my usually choosy audience has been taken in by that hack's little gizmo. I'm a man of skill, sleight of hand, feats of wit, and pure entertainment. This curio is ruining what used to be an art. And even when there's no crowd to speak of, old Reggie still has at least one fan calling bravo and hee-haw. Sure as the sun sets, that one devotee attracts 5 more, and those 5 more all curious about the commotion. I don't know how he inspires such loyalty with less talent contained between his hat and his boots than I've in my crusty handkerchief.
I'll take my leave. Bye. I'm sure we can, like, destroy that guy's prop
And
or
who
whatever.
are you supposed to be?
Stage Master Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer.
Oh, I should have been one of the greats, but here I am gathering peasants to watch peasants perform broadside pageants for peanuts.
What?
No, really? I hadn't noticed. If not for this ridiculous condition, you'd know me as the king's favorite thespian.
Thespian.
Don't you have an impressive library here in Sicil? I'm sure that beast of a librarian could rustle something up for you. Take it up with Katerina. She's the master of this pig circus after all. What is it this time?
Not Katerina the Fair.
Sherman, show all of Sicil what you're made of.
Zombie ate your dog? Orc sunk your ship? No matter! You're at Katerina's Fair, a veritable summer home for troubled minds. Won't you take a seat and let our esteemed entertainers whisk you off to a better place? Well, I'm Katerina the Fair, fairest first lady of the fair, of course. I do love making the acquaintance of my patrons, and who knows which of them might become one of my performers. I've an open stage in want of talent, and I've often found the best young performers among the rank and file of the audience.
Are we interested in putting on a performance? Just like, I mean, get a crowd for Cedric, I suppose. But are we ready? Do we need something first?
The theatre's fever has overcome you, has it? Marvelous! I do so love a fresh green talent ready to bloom. But I support players, not writers, you see. If you want to perform here, you'll have to find tried and true material. Check the library and see if any of the classics there interest you. I'd love to see a Source Hunters take on one of the old standards.
Check the library. I'm not ready, actually.
Show all of them. Sicil, what you're made of. Beer and flatulence.
So ardently did he crave creamy blues
That's
and
the
gory
talking
reds
head, right?
that he ordered a
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there stands the world-famous Reginald the Entertainer. Better check it out if you don't want to miss the time of your life. Oh, I'm nothing but your average man taking in the best show I've ever seen.
Isn't he?
I'm amazed and astounded that for a meager gold coin or two, I can take in this first-rate entertainment all day long.
The same show all day? That seems like a bit much.
Well, I've stumbled into quite the fine gig. I'll just let my appreciation for Reggie's work be known, and he slips me a few gold coins in return. My voice happens to carry pretty far. Sicil hears me. Sicil wants to see what the fuss is all about. And let me tell you, this amazing show just can't be beat.
What's that nutter in the back hollering about? I can hardly hear the show for all the ruckus. Don't ask me what the tale's about.
This show is worth the hype. Though that bloke in the back seems to be having a bit too much fun, if you ask me.
What's that nutter in the back hollering about?
What's that nutter at the...
What's that nutter in the back?
Yeah, they all just say the same thing.
This show is worth...
creamy blues and gory reds.
Don't ask me what the tale's about. I'm just here for the eye candy.
What's the eye candy?
You there! You don't look like someone who's ever been serenaded by a severed head. Step right up!
Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end.
I can't trade with him.
I doubt I have to tell you that I am the amazing singing Stefan, the only sentient severed head in Sicile. My audience sings my praises from hill and dale. Psst. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Oh, bless the
Yes, I
seven.
am.
Look, you've got to help me. I've been kidnapped.
My word!
Pleasure to meet you. Now, please, Stefan has many fans to meet today. Psst, help me. Take me to Reginald's cellar. There I will reveal everything.
What?
Fantastic!
Wait a little, let's talk to him
You there!
first.
Take a seat. Prepare to laugh your head off, cry your eyes out, and teeter on the edge of your seat with an original tale from Stefan, the talking severed head.
Fantastic!
I am Reginald the Illusionist, purveyor of the most amazing artifact in Andevale. This fantastical talking head. Catch the act while you can. This show will only remain in Sicile as long as there are Legion soldiers to entertain.
Let's discuss your talking head then.
That's right, a talking head. And he doesn't just talk. He'll weave you a yarn so fantastic, you'll be begging to hear just one more, and just one more. It's quite a story how I found him, too.
Let's hear it.
I obtained this curio by some rather sensational means. You see, I was diving in search of a rare medicinal sea herb. I volunteer at the local children's apothecary on weekends, in the shallows around Sicile's own Black Cove, when I spotted something amazing. The chest belonging to the fabled Captain Pontius. Though the chest was stuck fast, I summoned a swell of great strength and prized it free from the ancient rock. I had the treasure of a lifetime in my very hands, but then, slurp, gulp, I was swallowed by an ornery kraken that seemed to appear from nowhere.
I'm sure you were.
In the hubbub, I lost hold of my prize and watched it sink to the bottom of the beast's cavernous belly. Still, I feared only for a moment that all was futile. Before my mind's eye swam the faces of the many war widows and leprotic orphans who would be lost without my charitable support. I knew I had to live. Grabbing fast to the hilt of a cutlass that floated by at just that moment, I summoned all my strength to slash a great gash in the creature's gut. Freeing myself from my would-be tomb, I swam as quickly as I could, first to the surface and then to the shore. It was there, along the rocky beach, that I tripped over this talking head. Strange, isn't it? Ha! Yes, I know of that talentless bull. He was here entertaining the troops before I was brought in. I'm sure the hack simply bored his audience to tears until they cried for a replacement. Enter Reginald the Illusionist. We need our boys in red happy, relaxed, and ready to fight. Not wasting their energies cringing at a fool with a depressed rabbit in a borrowed hat.
What does it get me if I tip him?
What a generous spectator! Find a seat in the front, eh?
Okay.
Are you impressed by my prowess in the arts of entertainment? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And that crowd warmer has increased my profits by 60%, simply by showing a little honest appreciation for our show.
Good PR is everything. I'll certainly agree to that.
Fantastic!
So do I steal his skull now? I mean, why would I?
Today, I think, a king. The
Headless Nick.
Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines.
That Harry Potter
It is
reference.
said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour.
Let's maybe read our quest log when there's not like NPCs babbering all over. Blabbering. The talking statues. A beggar told us that he burned all his possessions because the statues told him to. These statues seem to be quite the mischievous troublemakers. We met Cedric, a frustrated entertainer at the fair, who told us he was desperate to attract a crowd. We met Gallagher, a crowd warmer, who told us the performer Reginald had paid him to enliven the show. We met an enchanted severed head, who asked us to take him to Reginald's cellar to talk in privacy. I mean, he asked us to, so I guess we can. Let's go back to Cedric, though, and tell him about the crowd warmer, maybe. That'll give him a new idea, whatever.
Performers, showmen,
Welcome to the stream, everyone, by the way. Fake Gwent, Fat Gamer, Fiend, and Lord Luciferon. How you guys doing?
A familiar face.
Yes, yes.
Come, watch the show.
Haven't you heard?
I promise. A person whose sole job is to praise the performance and stir a crowd. A genius invention. No wonder Reginald has had such success. I knew his act couldn't have outshone mine on its merits alone. Please, you must hire him for me. Imagine the scowl on that conman's face when my rightful audience returns to me.
How much are you willing to pay?
See event. Waiting for his big debut.
Okay, let's talk to him. Maybe we can purchase his services.
Bravo! Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, well, I don't see why I should. Reginald and I have grown rather friendly, you know? And in any case, it'll be hard to pull myself away from this fantastic show.
Right. Persuade this character by charming, intimidating, or reasoning. If your perception is high enough, you can see in brackets what answer grants the highest bonus. Oh.
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst.
So we can do intimidate because we have 8 strength.
Fantastic!
And charm because we have
that he ordered a contest across his realm.
high charisma, right? I suppose a professional like yourself would have enjoyed the challenge.
My
It
word.
is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew
Oh, well, it's 2 verse 7 now.
who is
Well,
said
that
to
should
have
be
known
easy.
Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst of
Fantastic!
So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm.
My word! Well, I guess it's been long enough since I've stretched my wings a bit.
That's
and
right.
it ain't so far of a flight now, is it? Maybe I will have a peek at what Cedric's up to over there.
Today, I think, a king.
Log updated.
Rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who
We convinced Gallagher to draw a crowd for Cedric instead. Or the other guy is gonna be so destitute. First we recruit his crowd warmer and then we steal his skull.
My word!
I haven't saved in a while.
Hear the stage calling you.
Alright.
Hey, it's you again! I don't have to tell you that Cedric's act
Right.
will help you banish belly fat
What?
and inspire your kids to say no to drugs.
That's so full of shit, man.
Oh, that Gallagher is quite the performer. One of my own ilk.
Hey, Lord Lucifer.
Sometimes all the flies need is a little honey, eh? And things are certainly buzzing around here.
I did stream Dota or Dark Souls. I've never played Dota much. I've played all the Dark Souls games.
Wow!
A little bit on stream, mostly not on stream, but I might have streamed those a while ago, yeah. Thanks for the follow anyways. It's been a while since I've played Dark Souls. I've like 100%ed all those all 3
Can you
games
spare
now.
a coin?
Wow. Waiting for his big debut.
Tell me about yourself.
All right.
Oh, just like
Right,
old
now it's
times.
going well for him.
The rush, the thrill. What a delight. Please stay and enjoy the show.
Okay. So now everyone's here. That's cool.
Well, I'll be a goblin's uncle. I hadn't the faintest clue there was another show over here.
The power of good PR. Right. Now that other guy has got another thing coming because we're gonna steal his skull.
You don't look like someone who's ever been serenaded by a severed head. Strange. You appear to be my only client. Did the whole of Sicil eat some bad chicken, or what? Aye, these Sicilian cows wouldn't dare chew their...
Okay. Let's see what happens if we just take him.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me. It won't be the worst indignation I've suffered. Get on with it then.
What do you think you are doing?
So... we'll need to do this... sneakily, I suppose.
What?
I can
Where is everyone
try...
trotting off to?
Sneaking
Don't they want
failed.
to hear
Why?
how the story ends?
Right.
Doesn't anyone care about the oldest
yeah, he's
dragon
gonna
knight of
notice.
Rivellon and his machines of rainbow-ribboned war? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Where is it? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. It won't be the worst
What do you think?
Do, re, mi.
I want to pick you up, but I can't with all those watchful eyes about.
What do you call a source hunter who finds a way to draw a crowd away from where he or she would like to perform a clandestine operation? A resourceful hunter.
Aww.
Come now, it can't be that hard to find something to draw off the attention of this bleating herd.
Headless Nick with the dad jokes. Tell me about yourself. So I need to...
Tricks of
yeah, I need to
kids.
stage
This
a
here is the greatest
distraction.
illusion in
Probably means like
Andorel.
getting my own show going. Talk to Katrina again.
What?
Enjoying the fair,
I'm ready
aren't
for my
you?
theatrical
Of course
debut.
you are. Right away, my dear, just as fast as your boots can carry you. You found something decent to perform, I trust, and you've gathered enough actors to do it justice?
Not really.
Speak to Master Chaucer if you're ready for your debut. He
Okay.
alone can adequately prepare you for the stage. Well, I'm Katerina the Fair. I've an open...
Yeah, we've talked to her about that before. So we could talk to Chaucer, but I suppose we need like a script and like actors first.
Come
right?
on! Come on!
Also, let's not split the party.
Come one, come all, and see the amazing singing Stefan!
Right, so that was the
Sicil's only sentient severed head!
theater district or whatever. Should we talk to Esmeralda? Yeah, let's talk to Esmeralda, sure. See what she has to say about her husband's, her late husband's demise. Oh, so I can take this without stealing. That's good. The book. I always like that. Patty Cake, Volume 3. A cookery book focusing on baked delicacies. Pie. Patty Cake. Dough, the happy child of water and wheat, serves as a base for many a hearty and filling meal. With a lump of dough in one hand and either apples, cheese, fish or tomato sauce in the other, supper is sure to delight. Apple pie dough. Let's go inside. Who are you?
Leave me be, I've a
guard.
job to do.
Sure. Septimus.
Legion's greetings. I have been informed about your heroics on the beach.
Yes?
Were that I had been there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here, sworn as I am to protect Lady Esmeralda from the rabble that would enforce summary justice on her, even though she is, until proven guilty, wholly innocent.
And you are?
I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9, Legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Sicile from day 1. Alas, both of them have long since fallen in battle against the dead. But never shall I lose heart. Long as a single Legionnaire stands, all of us remain undefeated in the eyes of the gods. So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind, her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication.
Blank water scroll. Can be used to create a random water spell scroll. Okay.
Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Sicile. The Council of 7 couldn't have wished for a better ambassador. That he of all people should have braved the undead siege for so long, only to be felled by foul sorcery, is heartrending.
Some questions.
What questions are those?
Something about Sicile.
I hold by the belief that this place is cursed. First, the undead, who are getting more vicious by the day, mind. Then the orcs, who don't seem to understand when a war's been lost. Something about this place seems to inspire the worst in those savages. I remember waking up with a head full of hammers 2 years ago. The drill sergeant barking away, "Up you get, lads, we sail for Sicile. Them's in need of the Legion over there." They certainly were, and they are still. Only, we cannot grant them victory. For I have yet to see the mortal soul that can put those undead bastards to rest once and for all.
So, let's talk to
Assure
Esmeralda
me,
herself.
dear Septimus, that you haven't been fighting
listen to
those
these
awful
talk.
orcs.
These two
I
talk
can't
first.
bear to imagine something would happen to you.
Oh, but don't you worry, milady.
Oh.
We Legionnaires are highly trained soldiers who fear neither orc nor demon.
Oh, but what if you were to be ambushed, caught unawares? Oh, catch me, for I might faint.
Are these two involved or something? What's he doing? What the hell? I guess they're flirting or whatever.
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here
Yes.
because you think I killed my husband. How many times do I
wanna
need to
find out.
state and restate my complete innocence in the matter? I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Like I told just about every Legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the pale. Oh, I think I'm getting one of my headaches.
Oh no, not one of your headaches. Also, she's a shopkeep, right? Let's just see what she's selling. Thunder jump, boulder bash, not boulder dash. Poison arrow. All right. Air resistance, cloth shoes of superstition. +1 lawmaster. Teak robe. We do need a ranged weapon for a ranger.
Well, what do you want to know? Sicile. Now that's a sad story.
Roofs of elegant homes burned for fuel, oaken cupboards emptied, and ladies dragging the dregs of their great skirts to bargain for fish bones. I'm telling you, a necromancer must have been at work in Sicil. Perhaps still is. How else do you explain risen dead sprouting like mushrooms in a single night? And that's not even the worst of it. No, the worst is they keep coming back. An endless legion of the dead that even the legion of the living cannot subdue.
Goodbye.
Seems to be quite adamant about her innocence.
Suspicious minds.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she
Found
actually
your
did
primary
the evil
suspect.
deed.
Okay. The fair owner, Katerina's, said we can put on a show if you find some interesting material to perform. Forming the crowd, we convinced Gallagher to draw the crowd for Cedric instead. Counselor's wife, Drake's wife Esmeralda, says she didn't commit the murder, but we'd be fools to take her word for it. We had better see if we can find some actual evidence that conclusively links her to her husband's death. I mean, she does seem a bit odd, but I mean, that's not to say that she murdered her husband.
We'll have none of
Fuck.
that, you hear?
Sorry. Sometimes you just accidentally end up clicking on a door or whatever, you know. Gonna go upstairs. Painting of a rooster. Key to Esmeralda. Oh. Ooh. I mean, I'm not the stealing type, at least not these characters, but this could be very useful. Can I do this without anyone noticing?
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and delicious you've become.
What's this dialogue? Like someone's talking to me from the beyond or whatever. I've become very edgy indeed. A veritable shitlord.
So tell me, Septimus, would your wife or sweetheart be compensated?
Alright. So, as for question markers, we still have to investigate the crime scene. And what is this?
Scrolls to entussle you!
Oh, okay, there's the market as well. So alright, before we actually have a look at the crime scene, I think we'll check out the market and speak with a couple of the vendors here. Yet before that though, I'll take a small break and I'll see you after that.
Join the